Okay, so we're learning about polynomials. So we need some vocabulary. A monomial, we've kind of already talked about monomials from first module, is a number, a variable, or the product of a number and one or more variables. So that example would be a number is like 2. So 2 is the monomial. A variable is like x. So x is a monomial. But you can also multiply everything together and get something like 3x squared y. That's also a monomial. A polynomial is a monomial or a sum of monomials, each called a term of a polynomial. So let's review poly. Does anyone know what poly means? If you have that suffix of poly? Many, okay? If you go for many, it's like polytheism. If you guys remember back in world history, you learned about that. Poly means many God. Polytheism means many gods. So this is polynomial, means many terms, okay? So that just kind of helps you remember what that means. So it just means I'm taking a bunch of monomials and I'm adding them all together. So it's going to look something like this. 4x squared plus 3x plus 1. Then we have a binomial, like a bicycle. Bi means 2. A polynomial with 2 terms. So then you have 4x minus 3 is a binomial. Trinomial, like a tricycle. Tri means 3. Okay, so 3 terms. So like 5x squared plus 3x plus 1. Mm-hmm.
So like you can pretty much just write down any equation for this?
Mm-hmm. As long as it had 3 terms.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I can write 2x plus 3x plus 1.
Yes.
Then that, like,
You would want to combine like terms, so you want them all to be not like terms.
So you want like
Different degrees, different exponents. Okay. Okay, like terms now. Okay, like terms are terms with the same variables and the same exponents. So we'd have 3x squared and negative 6x squared are like terms. But then we also have 4x squared y and negative 10xy are not like terms. Yes.
So the first one, 3x squared and 6x squared are the like terms.
Because they have the same variable, both x's, and the same exponent with that variable, x squared and x squared. The coefficient does not matter. Yeah, the big number in front. The next one, the 4x squared y and the negative 10xy, because the x isn't squared on the 10, it's not like terms. They have to have that same exponent. They're similar but not the same. So we cannot combine those things. You can only add like terms. The degree of a polynomial is the largest exponent, is the largest degree, is the degree of the polynomial. So we have a polynomial that is like 5x to the 4th plus 3x squared minus 8 it has a degree of what the largest exponent is. That largest exponent is 4. So that's a 4th degree polynomial. Any questions over that? Okay, standard form of a polynomial is a polynomial that is written in descending order of degree. It has the biggest exponent first and then goes down by the exponent. That's the only thing we're going to look at when we're looking at standard form. So it'd be like 3x to the 5th plus 7x to the 3rd minus 8x minus 1. So my biggest exponent is first, then my next biggest, then the next one. This is like to the 1st power. And then the constant, the number without a variable, is at the end. Any questions over that? Okay, now we're just going to learn how to simplify. Okay, the first thing we need to figure out here is what operation are they asking me to do here? Are they asking me to add, subtract, multiply? Add, very good. Since there's a plus sign right here, we know this is addition. We're adding. And that's what it's asking me to do. And then to add polynomials, you're just going to combine like terms. So I'm going to say that 2x squared and this x squared. Remember that x squared has like a 1 in front of it. So I'm counting. I have 2 over here and 1 over here, so I have a total of how many? 3x squares. Then the 3x and the negative 6x are like terms because they both have x's. So 3 and negative 6, they are opposite signs. So I'm going to subtract. And the bigger number gets the sign, so it's negative 3x. Finally, the negative 5 here and the 2, the constants, are like terms. So negative 5 and 2, again, also opposite signs. So I'm going to subtract them and get negative 3. And there you go. That's all I have to do. Any questions over that? Okay, in your pairs, I want you guys to do the next one. Okay, so when we're combining like terms, I would really like you guys to underline like I'm doing to help see what you guys are adding and subtracting. So 5x squared and 3x squared are like terms because they have the same variable and the same exponent. They are the same sign, so I'm going to add them and get 8x squared. 4x and negative 6, they're opposite signs, so I'm going to subtract them and get negative 2x. Negative 4 and negative 7, they are the same sign, so I'm going to add them and keep their sign, so it's negative 11. Any questions over that? Yes. I would like them in standard form, but no, if you put them in a different, if you put the negative 2 in front, that's still good. Okay. Okay, on the back. Okay, on the back, what operation are we doing? We're subtracting. Good. Okay, to subtract. Polynomials. Need to distribute. Distribute the negative. So when you guys first learned about integers and negative numbers, you would add the opposite. That kind of ring a bell to some of you. Okay, that's exactly what we're doing here. It's like a negative one's out here and we're distributing it and changing their signs. So negative 1 times positive x squared is negative x squared. Negative 1 times x becomes negative x. Negative 1 times negative 8 makes that a positive 8. Now this next step is just combine like terms. So now we go back. 4x squared and negative x squared are like terms. Negative x squared is like a negative 1. So 4 negative 1 is 3x squared. Negative 6 and negative 1, again, this is like a 1 in front. So negative 6 and negative 1, same signs, we're going to add and keep their sign, negative 7. Then 7 and negative 8, sorry, not negative 8, oopsie. 7 and positive 8, that's a positive 15. So that is my answer there. Any questions over that?
So you change the signs of the right side.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Then combine like terms. Not necessarily adding, because I did subtract a little here.
Right.
But I combine like terms.
Based on
The signs of your numbers or your terms. Okay, so D, everyone does D in their pairs. Practice that. Okay, and so what'd you get? Okay, so when you distributed, what did the polynomial become? It should be a negative 7x. Mm-hmm. Very good. When you distribute that negative, all of these signs change. So 7 becomes negative, 2 becomes positive, and 6 becomes positive. Amir. There you are. What did you get was your first term that you got?
I then subtracted x2, and then I got negative 8.
Very good. So negative 1x squared and negative 7x squared becomes negative 8x squared. Adele, what'd you do? What's another like term? Okay, we already got that, right? And it should be negative 8 because this is a 1 and this is a 7. Okay, very good. 3x and 2x are like terms, and that gives me 5x's. And then our last one is 1 and positive 6. Same sign, so I'm going to add and get positive 7. So that should be my answer. Any questions over that? Okay, now this we have a little bit of multiplication. This right here is multiplying. And right here, you're gonna also multiply. Then we're gonna combine like terms. So we're gonna do the 3x squared times the 2x and get 6x squared. We're gonna do the 3x times the 5 and get negative 15x. On this one, you're gonna distribute that negative 6. So negative 6 times x is negative 6x, and negative 6 times 7 gives me negative 42. Make sure you're distributing the negative 6. Any questions? Okay, now you're gonna combine like terms. Okay, the 6x squared is all by itself, so we're just gonna write that down. The negative 15 and the negative 6x, they both have an x, so we're gonna add them. They're the same sign, so I add. And that gives me negative 21x. And then the negative 42 is all by itself, so we just bring that down. Any questions over that? Okay, you guys do this one. Okay, Anthony, what'd you do first? Okay, and what'd you get? Yep, minus 30x, okay? Okay, Matt, what do I do next?
Distribute 4x to the other.
And what'd you get?
12x squared plus 16x.
Very good. Zach, now what? Okay, and what were like terms?
I got 7x. Second power minus 14.
Okay, so negative 5 and 12, they're the same. They're like terms. They're opposite signs, so I'm subtracting at 7x squared. And then the negative 30 and the positive 16, opposite signs, subtract, and get negative 14x. Okay, and that's it. Any questions over that? Okay. Next one. Ladies. Okay, the next one now, what operation is occurring here? Are we adding, subtracting, or multiplying? Multiplying. Okay, I'm going to show you a way to multiply. I would ask that you multiply it the way I'm showing it to you, even if you can multiply it a different way. Okay, I'd like you to do it this way because it will make life easier as we move on through this chapter. Okay, we're going to do the area model. So we're going to draw a rectangle and cut it into pieces. The 2x minus 3 and the 3x plus 2 are lengths of part of this rectangle. So this is 2x and this is negative 3. This is 3x and this is 2. When we multiply, we're actually finding the area of each of the little pieces. Then we will add everything together to find the area of the total box. So here we're going to multiply this length of 2x times this length of 3x and get 6x squared. This one, we're going to multiply the term of -3 times the term of 3x, and we will get -9x. This one, the side length is 2x here, times the side length of 2, which is 4x. And then finally, we're going to multiply the -3, the side length of -3, and the side length of 2, and get -6. Any questions over that? Okay, then we have like terms. You notice the -9 and the 4 are like terms, so we're going to combine those. The 6x squared doesn't have a like term, so just bring it down. We want to add up all the little pieces of the box to find the area of the total box. 4 and -9 is -5x's. And then we have 6 minus 6. And that is the area of that big box. Yes?
Can we also just do it like where we did like that? Like where it's kind of like,
Yes, that's another way to multiply it. Okay, H. Same idea. This one we have x minus 4, the whole thing squared. So that means I know my box is a square. I'm going to draw my box again. I still have 2 side lengths. This side is x minus 4. And since it is a perfect square, the other side is also x minus 4. I'm going to multiply it. So this is x times x is my x squared. This is the -4 times the x, which is -4x. This side length is x and -4, which is -4x. And finally, this side is -4 times -4, which is a positive 16. Any questions over that? Okay, again, we want to find the area of the whole box, so we add it all together. X squared doesn't have like terms. The -4 and the -4 do have like terms, so it's -8x. And then plus 16. Any questions? How are we doing? Okay, this method also works when we have a binomial times a trinomial. 2 terms times a 3-term item. We just need to have our box have 3 places. Why will it not? So we're going to have 3 lines here. So the top part is going to be my x squared minus 3x minus 7. And this is 2x and then 5. Multiply it all through. So x squared times 2x is 2x cubed. Then -3 times the 2x is -6x squared. X times x is x squared. Then the -7 times the 2x is -14x. Then the x squared times the 5 is 5x squared. Then the -3x times the 5 is -15x. And the negative 7 times the 5 is negative 35. Okay, again, we want to find the area of the big rectangle, so we're going to add up all the pieces. By doing, we have to combine like terms. So the 3x cubed is all by itself. The 5x squared and the negative 6x squared, they have the same variable, same exponent, so those are like terms. They're opposite signs, so I'm going to subtract and get negative just x squared. And the negative 14 and the negative 15x are like terms. Again, these are the same signs, so we're going to add them and get negative 29x. And then minus 35. That's all by itself. Any questions over that? Okay. So that's how we multiply polynomials. Okay. I'm going to have you guys start out J on your own. It does have a 2 in front. We're going to leave that to the very end. So we're just going to multiply the 2 polynomials. So this is going to be x squared minus 5. It's going to be x squared minus 6x plus 3. I'm going to have you guys work on that. Okay, back up here. Okay, Adrian, what goes here in that first box? X to the 4th, very good. Logan, what goes in this box? Very good. Sam, what goes in this box? Delano, what goes in this box? Mm-hmm. Kyle, what goes in this box? Positive 30x. Make sure it's a positive 30x. A negative times a negative makes that positive. Aspen, what goes in my last box? What did you say? Negative 15? Okay. Okay. So then we just combine our like terms. X to the 4th is all by itself. Then there's no more cubes, so we're going to take minus 6x cubed. I do have 2 x squares. So negative 5 and positive 3, opposite signs subtract, and I get negative 2x squared. Then positive 30x, and then negative 15. So that's what should come up from there. Now I'm going to bring this 2 down and multiply everything by 2. So 2 times x to the 4th is 2x to the 4th. 2 times negative 6 is negative 12x cubed. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4x squared. And 2 times 30 is positive 60x. And then 2 times negative 15 is negative 30. And that's all of it. Okay. So it's not difficult, just might take a little time for the bigger multiplication problems. Okay, I want you guys to do this one, find the area of that figure. Okay, you find the area of all the pieces, and this gives you x squared. This gives you 5 times x is 5x. X times 2 is 2x's. And 5 times 2 is 10. The x squared doesn't have a like term, so I bring it down, because we're going to add up all the little pieces. 5 and 2 are like terms, so that becomes adding, so plus 7x, and then plus 10. So that's our area of the whole square, or rectangle in this case. Okay, the next one asks you for perimeter. Can somebody raise their hand and remind me what perimeter means? Yeah? Very good. It's all the way around. So we're adding up all the sides. So if this side is 2x minus 1, this is also 2x minus 1. If this side is x plus 3, then this is also x plus 3. Okay, and then we're just going to combine our like terms. 2x and x is 3, plus another 2x is 5, plus another x here is 6. So that's 6x. Okay. Now we're going to combine the -1 and the +3. -1 and +3, they're opposite signs, so I'm going to subtract those and get 2. And then the -1 and the +3 again, I'm going to subtract them and get 2. So 2 plus 2 will give me 4. Any questions over that? We're all good? Okay, we're going to stop for a minute.